Hello, I'm Alistair McClellan, the editor of HSJ. Welcome to our roundtable on unwarranted variation in NHS care. It is hard to think of a more important issue facing the NHS. Nobody is likely to arrive with sackloads of cash anytime soon to help the NHS out of its current bind. If the NHS is to survive and to prosper, it must become more efficient. Becoming more efficient means dealing with variation. And the causes and solutions to those variation were the subject of our roundtable that you're going to watch now.
I think one of the issues for us to trust is there's so much data, and it's knowing which bits are the important bits to focus on to make sure they're the right bits for the quality of your care. So it's really easy to get very sidetracked into your 95% A&E or your 62-day target for cancer or whatever it is. But is that the one that actually really tell you what's going on in your organisation and what's good and bad? And I think that's a real problem, to have that helicopter view.
The biggest focus is benchmark data across organisations on specific agendas. So where does your organisation fit, be it at a top level on Shimmy HSMR through to individual specialty level performance, but benchmarked against a peer group that one is happy with. It is absolutely about where you are not performing and understanding why.
So we've seen a variation in mortality with assumptions made about what is driving that, rather than starting with, I can see that you have got some variation here. Now let's try and understand in your context, with your particular sets of individual systems and processes, what is driving that variation.
Seems to me what we're trying to do with variation is to righten and tighten it. So we're trying to move the mean to the right, and we're trying to reduce the most unwarranted variation, while still, by the way, allowing innovation and positive innovation on the right. Because one of the things you could absolutely kill from just trying to tighten is you can kill innovation. So we know that there is something about use of data, about developing leaders, about the incentives we have in the system.
Leadership is absolutely key. If I look back and reflect, the leadership wasn't there. It was being driven to achieve something, but actually the leadership to be able to have an honest conversation about what we needed, and for somebody to motivate staff to come with you on that journey and trust you to use those systems and give them a go, whilst acknowledging some of the challenges, that's actually been missing.
You can have the leadership, and then that leader moves on, because often they're on a trajectory in their career and it all falls by the wayside if you haven't actually got the organisational development work going on underneath. And I think it's something we really underinvest in the NHS.
In almost every other sector, technology would be the enabling mechanism. Anybody want to talk about why that isn't appropriate, why it isn't happening, why it should happen?
If you look at what we now see in terms of individual patient monitoring and how that's starting to highlight patients going off level 1 pathway significantly earlier than it has done in the past. So it's coming.
In many other industries, the chief execs themselves would be all over the technology just as they would the finance. And yet in the NHS somehow it's left to the CIOs or whatever. So I think there's a step change for the senior leadership of the NHS to become technology literate. But the other thing, of course, is to make better use of the technology that we've already got.
The big picture, I suppose, is maintaining timely, effective care for our populations at ages, that CCGs have the confidence they know that wherever they go to for a hip or knee replacement or shoulder, elbow, ankle procedure, whatever it is done for the right indication, giving the patient the best possible outcome, lowest complication rate, at best value to the taxpayer, allowing us to maintain care for the population as it moves forward.